When do you decide to believe yourself? That is a question that we each are struggling with, probably currently, because of what's happening in the world. And I'm going to talk about that because I keep saying, gee, I know what's happening in the world. And people say, sounds crazy, Roger. How could you know? Yeah, it sounded crazy to me as well. However, I have received information, let's say. Anyway, I'm an intuitive empowerment life purpose coach. Now, I didn't use all those words, all those labels before, because the intuitive thing was nothing that I was ever going to talk about or tell anyone, because it felt strange to me, and it's something I'm going to keep a little private here. And then the empowerment part, I couldn't talk about that because I hadn't gotten there. See, I had to really work on that because I always thought something's wrong with you. You're a weird person. And I can no longer do that. I'll tell you, let me go back, because this leads into talking about what's happening in the world, what's happening for you, because we are all moving through something that we were meant to, which is going to cause us to become better and create a better world, if we understand what's going on. And for me, understanding what's going on and not helping more people, it's a little bit of a, it's not a good thing. So I have to get out of that. And I'll tell you, let me start back here. A few weeks ago, no, it was last week, I started noticing that I was seeing numbers, repeating numbers everywhere. And it was shocking to me, because I know that it's a symbol. We have all kinds of symbols and glimpses and things that we receive. And if you're in the spiritual community, you kind of know that, and you pay attention to it when you see numbers 444, 1111, whatever it might, 333, whatever it is. We know that something's going on, but I never used to see them or allow myself to see them, I'll say, and that was no longer possible. And so I'm seeing all of these showing up all the time, and I'm going, something's going on here. And so what I did was I took my phone and I started taking snapshots of it every time it was happening, because I said, no one's going to believe this. No one is going to believe this is happening, and I'm having trouble, but I know something's coming. I've always been the person that knows that there's always a reason. Something's going to show up, and it'll explain it to me. So then Friday night, I'm listening to a video, and I'm listening to something, and it's saying, we've been sending you messages. We've been sending you repeating numbers to get your attention. I go, okay, that was really freaky. And this was right before I was doing a channeling session the next day, and more information came out in the channeling session, which is also strange for me, because I have to listen to it again to see what came through. And it was really brilliant information, and I never talked about it. I don't talk about it with 2 years ago, when things started happening in the world, the pandemic and all of that, somehow I knew how to get ready. Don't know why, but I started acting, I started pulling things together, and I just had a sense. And then I started writing about it. It came through in my Wilhelm, in my messages. I posted one again the other day, just to show this was shown to me like a couple of years ago, what was going to be happening and all the particulars, and even the part about women. That even came through, because women are going to make a difference in this change. We're moving into a new world. That is what is happening, and that's why it's breaking apart, and that's why everyone's going to fight a little bit and be a little afraid and all of that. I've worked through the fear and the doubt. That's why I've got to help people, and I know now that that's what's going on. And then I got kicked in the butt this morning, though. Well, in the middle of the night, because that's usually when happens. I'll be awakened to hear something or listen to something, and it's just always kind of strange, because they say, this is when we get your attention. You have to understand, I was never the person who would talk about anything spiritual or religious or in any kind of weird stuff. I just didn't want to do it. I was going to be judged. I was going to be embarrassed. I did my work, though, because what I was using in all of my work was my intuitive sense to allow people to move to where they were supposed to be. I just didn't tell them what was happening. And I just saw a response on a TikTok today from a former client, haven't seen in years and years and years, and he says, "You are the best vocal coach in the universe." I said, yeah, I believe that too. I don't know how that happened. See, because I didn't know how to do that before. I didn't know how to do it. It was all intuitive. Didn't tell anybody that either. So when I started receiving all this information a couple of years ago, then last year I was told, oh, we gave you something. We gave you everything you need to know. I said, that doesn't even make any sense. Yes, we gave you everything you needed to know. We gave it to you in 2012. And then I started going through everything. I denied it forever. It's just like the dream that I had in 2005 that I put in a closet because I didn't want to look at that. I didn't want to have to fulfill that dream that it seemed like I actually committed to doing something. We all committed to doing something when we were born. However, believing it is another story. And as I'm going through this, I'm saying, no, that couldn't have happened. It couldn't be me. I couldn't be the one who was given something that was going to help people, because they said, you're going to move through a transition in your world, and so we gave you something in 2012 to help you move through this period. That makes no sense. Many of you might have heard I doubted it. I went and I actually last December decided to put people through this program, this information that I received, to see if it worked. It worked brilliantly. I couldn't understand that either. I said, how did that happen? And then I had to go back and look at it and review it myself, just like I have to review everything, like when I channel, whatever I might do, I have to go back and look at it and get the information just like everyone else. But when I did that, then I knew why it worked. And then it was revealed to me why it was so great. Because they said in the beginning, we gave you infinite intelligence, meaning you all have it. All you have to do is access it. Believe you can access it, and it'll come to you. And so I guess I've kind of worked with that forever, and I had to work through all of my particular issues in my life, my anger, my doubt, my fear, all of those things I needed to move through, because that's how we evolve as humans in this life. After going through that again, I said, okay, now why did this work? They told me, go back 500 years because you're changing things here. And they wanted me to see Martin Luther because that was, he was reforming things. And that's a reform that we needed to have in this world, and especially in churches, because we've used churches and religions basically, to divide ourselves. We have. And I always felt really odd at Christmas and Easter and all of that, because we would make Jesus, which was wonderful, that's what we were supposed to celebrate, and it was great, but I always thought people missed the point. I thought, wait a minute, he didn't say that that he's the only one. He said that we all have it. He's showing us, he's giving us an example. We're supposed to take it forth. We're supposed to use that energy, the Christ spirit energy, to move things forward. But we were using it, and if we didn't believe that way, then we were wrong. And so then we create more division, and it's gone on for eons. This is not something that's just shown up. It's gone on forever. And we've kept women down. That's what I kept talking about. So we've controlled them. That's what happens. Men have done that for eons. That's just the way it was. That's the way we came in, and then every civilization, we change it a little bit. And that's what we're in the process of doing now. That's what's going to happen. Things are going to be quite different than what you think, what you might be seeing. However, that only happens if each of us decides to do what we're brought to the earth to do, and to believe ourselves. So today I decided I would believe myself. Well, I had no choice. Because after all the messages, the numbers I received last week, then I'm watching this video last night because I was awake, and I'm listening to this video, and they're explaining what's happening in the world, and this guy is talking about Atlantis, which is something that when I had an Akashic Records reading done, she told me that's where your energy comes from. I go, that makes no sense. And then I heard all these other things that I had this ancient memory. I said, that makes no sense. I don't want to believe that. Except it kept coming through. And then when I'm listening to this video, at the end of it, it was saying exactly what I believed. And then the person speaking, or the animatronic, whatever was talking, said, okay, yeah, you're supposed to take on now. You're our equal. That's what, you're our equal. You're supposed to move things forward. That's all of us. And then, and it freaked me out, because I said, I'm hearing exactly what I believed for years, but couldn't say it and couldn't talk about it to anyone. And then as it's done, I looked at my TV, because I was playing it on my TV, and the time said 333. And I took a photo of it. So I have all this stuff in there. I'm going to actually edit and put that in there. It was the most revealing thing ever, but it was also a signal. It was also saying that I can no longer hold back, because People need to own who they are. We are injecting far too much fear into the world because of what's going on and not understanding that we're transitioning. And it's each of us. It's every person. You have your own journey, your own evolutionary journey. So what you're moving through now, you were meant to do to be here. And it's probably challenging, but a lot of people aren't even paying attention. Some people don't even know what's going on, so I understand that. However, those of you who have felt that and know that something's going on, it is time for you to own who you are and to help move the world forward. You know, I was talking about this and I said it was challenging for me to accept that I had been given something, some piece, some program, some ideas, a philosophy is what I was told, that would help people change their lives, completely transform who they are. And I'm going through it, I'm going, it's doing that. When does someone decide that they've created something great? When do you decide that you are who you're meant to be? Or when do you give up the imposter syndrome, thinking that you're not the person who was meant to do this? Well, I've had way too much proof now, so I have to give that up. And I'm going to decide to help more people own exactly who they are. And I have the tools to do that. And I have the experience. And I have the information that comes through me that helps in that way as well. So I just wanted to give you this because we're going to move through some stressful times. But if you're working on yourself, as I said, you're not going to have the kind of fear and losing everything and all of that. You'll come out much, much better. That's what will happen, because that's where the world is going. I know it's probably difficult for you to see that, but that's what I've seen, and I know that that's what's coming. All right, see you guys soon.